Well, good afternoon, everybody. I think that this is going to have a much better sound on it. Well, I hope so, because I read a couple of comments on previous videos, and one of them said, I can't remember the name of the person who said this to me, but thank you very much for the information. But you said that the Apple iPhone came with headphones that would have a little microphone in with it. So I'm wearing it. I'm wearing them, okay? I'm just hoping that the microphone is set properly. It's been snowing, as you can see. And we've had some some brutally heavy rain. And that's kind of caused a fair bit of flooding. And then that was followed by some quite heavy snow last night. Now most of it is cleared because, as you can see, the sky is nice and blue. And we've had sunshine. So I've been stuck indoors a little bit. So what I've been doing, I've finished painting my kitchen. I've moved a little bit more furniture around, which you will see on subsequent videos, and I was just about to start some bread baking, and I thought, I need to go into town and get a few bits and bobs just before I set off to Belfast tomorrow. So I'm driving into Carrick at the moment. I'm going to Belfast tomorrow to visit my daughter and my granddaughter. So I'm going to make I hope to make a couple of wee videos en route. Now I've also washed the car. So I've been very active today. So we're just coming down towards Battlebridge and Baron's Pub. This is a slightly different route, because I brought you back this route, but I haven't brought you on this route into town. Now the River Shannon, as I cross it, is absolutely teeming with water. It's very high. But such is life in the west of Ireland. You know, there's a tendency to dip in and out of spring. But you know that you're on the right side of spring, because there's just so much life, and the bird life seems to have taken on an energy all of its own. It's turned into a beautiful day. I was reading a book about the fairies, or the Sidhe as we call them here. Now Sidhe, it's pronounced she, but it's spelt S-I-D-H-E. So anytime you see that word, remember the pronunciation is simply she. So the Sidhe, as they're called here in the west of Ireland, can take on a human form. And fairies, or Sidhe, are very good at disguising themselves. Now, when I was reading this book, I just stopped for, it must have been half an hour, because I was thinking and casting my mind back over the years and just remembering a few incidences where I met complete strangers. In one particular case, I met a completely strange woman. I'd never met her before, but she had these incredible eyes, and she was sitting on the beach. I think I told this story before. It may have been in one of the podcasts that I did several years ago. But anyway, this woman was sitting on the beach, and this was a few years before I came back to Ireland and started the Bealtaine project. But she was sitting on the beach, and I just passed the time of day with her. You know, I said, "Oh, good evening," or something. And she continued to look out to sea, but she was talking to me. And she basically, believe this or not, but it is the truth. It is the truth, incredible though it may seem. She told me not so much that I would come back to Ireland, but she told me that I had to return to Ireland. And she basically told me how the next any amount of years would pan out. And all the way through the Bealtaine project, from its inception at the very beginning, I have kept the pictures in my head as she appeared to paint them. And I'm just, as I'm driving now, I'm just remembering her. She was, without a doubt, an otherworldly creature. She was not of this realm. She was not of this time. And when I climbed back off the beach, I looked back and she'd gone, but I had left by the only exit. Very, very strange. Anyway, so I was reading this book, and it just brought me back to that point where I was on this beach in County Clare, and it was like a little cove and surrounded by cliffs, and listening to this woman talk to me, and that in itself was quite rare, because it's normally myself who's doing the talking. But she spoke with me, and I couldn't tell you how long I was there for. It really was a timeless, an utterly timeless experience for me. So reading this book last night, I thought to myself, that would make sense. And she was one of the she. And when I came to Ireland looking for a little cottage and some land, I mean, I had no preference, north, south, east or west. And now I see something rather strange in the fact that the cottage and land that I bought happened to be not just within sight of the mountain of the Sidhe, which is Slieve in Erin, and that's where the Tuatha De Danann landed. Anyone who's read In Search of the Goddess Rising will know the story. But there was that connection then between this experience that I had and where I ended up starting the Bealtaine project. She told me a lot of stuff, And again, a very strange experience, you see, because it was timeless. Now, anyone who has experienced anything like this, it's almost like it's almost like an out-of-body experience, because you're not really in this reality, you're not really in this world. It was one of the strangest experiences I've ever had. I've never questioned it. I've never seen it as being terribly unusual, and yet I can say it was one of the strangest experiences I've ever had. So anyway, in brief now, I'm going to just briefly sum up. It got me to thinking that there are a lot of stories that I not just want to recount and want to write, but I feel that I need to recount. I need to revisit, I need to recount, I need to tell them as stories, because the only way to enable an experience of what I experienced is to tell it as a story. So that's something I'm going to be doing over the next little while. I'm going to be writing out some of these stories. I feel strangely compelled to do so. Anyway, so here I am now in Carrick. This is the little town of Carrick, and I'm just going to go up here as far as the bank, see if the hole in the wall will give me some money, and if it does, then I'll nip on round to the shops and get some supplies. So, blessings to all.